Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope your coffee's strong and your breakfast hits the spot. This week has genuinely made me stop and think a little bit. Not just because I lost loads of weight, because I didn't. The scale stayed exactly the same this week. But weirdly, that's not even the thing that's been on my mind the most. It's actually been the reaction to my secret jabber video. And I honestly didn't expect so many people to open up about judgment, keeping this journey private, and how exhausting other people's opinions can be when all you're trying to do is improve your health. So some of the comments this week have really hit me hard. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to talk about the scale not moving. And of course, it's Saturday, so we're going to be answering your questions. I'm Manda's Midlife, and this is my journey. Right, before we get into the weekly update properly, this week's really reminded me that weight loss is never really just about the scale, is it? Because somehow a video about secret jabbers turned into loads of people talking about judgment, talking about pressure, talking about relationships, and talking about why so many people feel like they have to keep this journey quiet. Now, I'll be honest, some of the comments I received changed the way I look at it a little bit because I wasn't expecting it. And this wasn't about me picking a side. This wasn't about me saying you shouldn't be keeping it a secret or you should keep it a secret, because we all know everybody's journey, everybody's circumstances, everybody's way of living is completely different. And for me, it's felt a little bit like, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, because it felt like I was being judged on that video and I was taking a side on that video. And I had a lot of comments that were pretty much saying it's nothing to do with you. And I get that, that is fine. Everybody gets an opinion. That's part and parcel of doing what I do, putting it all on this channel. What it was about for me was about looking at the reasons why people may keep it a secret. And it certainly wasn't me judging the way people keep a secret or judging the way you live your life. It's obviously quite an emotive subject. It's quite an emotional subject. But I felt I owed it to those people, the people that trusted their information with me, trusted their stories with me, to put that into a video, as I promised to do, and portray that in the best possible way I could, whilst not betraying their trust. And open and honest as always, Manda's Midlife, that's what it's all about. I thought it was a brilliant video. I thought it was one of the best videos I've ever done. And I've done nearly 200 videos now on this channel. And I thought it was a fantastic video. The views will say different. It's really not done very well. It was a bit of a side road from what I normally do. To keep the channel fresh, to keep it honest, to keep it moving. Things do occasionally have to take a bit of a side turn. It can't always be, this week I lost £2, this week I've got sulfur paps. It's got to evolve. It's got to move forward. It's always going to be about my weight loss journey. It's always going to be about midlife health. But occasionally the topics are going to veer to one side or the other. But as I said, I thought it was a fantastic video. I know I made it, but I actually thought it was really good. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out. So as I alluded to earlier, my weight has stayed exactly the same this week. So I am still 75 pounds down on my weight loss journey. It's a little bit frustrating when you feel like you're putting all the hard work in, you're doing all the right things, you're hydrating, your protein, your calorie counting, all the effort's there, but you're not getting the prize or the result at the end of it. Now, me, the old me, turn the clock back a month, I would have been on here panicking. I would have been on here moaning. I would have been hitting the panic button and going, this Mounjaro's not working again. I've been through stores, you know I've been through stores, and I will go through stores again in the future. So I'm going to look at the bigger picture now. I'm not going to obsess over that one way in, because my gym consistency has been much better this week. I've been to the gym 3 times this week and I'm absolutely in bits. Everything is so sore at the moment. But that's what happens when you go to the gym, isn't it? I'm feeling stronger, I'm feeling fitter. The Hume pod will disagree with me because it's saying there's been very little change, if any at all. Appetite still feeling fantastic, still well controlled. Food noise, spot on as always. But it's also worth knowing that psychologically, as you get closer to your goal, this stage of weight loss is when progress slows down, and it is this stage when it gets tough. And I'm not going to be doing anything different than I've done for the past 3 weeks when I've lost weight, because my mindset is, if 1 week I didn't lose weight, then we'll carry on and we'll get there, because that's exactly what you need to do. And I'm sure that a month ago I would have seen this week as a failure, but now I am literally just going to see it as part of the process. Also, just wanted to briefly touch on, I did an interview for an American channel a few weeks ago, and it was released 4 or 5 days ago now, and it's Glp1 Journey in review. Go and check out her channel, it's absolutely fantastic. It was a really interesting experience and not something I've ever done before. Obviously this was all done via Zoom, because I think she's in Florida, but it was really interesting because you're getting asked all these questions, you don't know what's coming, you're not briefed in any way before you do this interview. And yeah, go and check out the channel, check out the interview, because there may be some bits on there that I don't talk about on the channel here, and you may see a different side to me that you've maybe not seen before. But it was a really interesting experience, and if she approaches you, I would certainly say take that opportunity. If you want to sort of challenge yourself, you're in this sort of content creation, this YouTube world, and you're sat here, you're kind of used to talking in front of a camera like I do twice a week, and then all of a sudden you're thrust in front of someone else's camera and they're sort of firing questions at you, albeit in a nice manner because she's a lovely lady. But yeah, pop over to Glp1 Journey in review. Right, ever so quickly before we move on to the questions that you send in, and I do my best to answer them, a lot of people are still asking where I get this from, especially new viewers. I'm still using Bolt Pharmacy, and they're continuing to support the channel, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll leave the details down below. There's also a discount code for everyone that's been asking. As always, do your own research and use whoever you feel comfortable with. But I know a lot of people appreciate having somewhere trusted to start looking. There are 2 codes in there. There's one if you're in the UK, and there's Fella Health if you're in the US. I am getting a lot of feedback from Bolt saying a lot of people in the US are clicking on the wrong link. So if you are in America and you're looking for a new supplier, click on the Fella Health link and it'll take you through to the area where you need to be. Right, let's move on to the questions that you've sent in this week, or as I call it, Q&A. Right, a couple of notes before I get stuck into the questions. If I don't read out your question this week, it is not because I didn't like your question. It's not because I'm avoiding your question. It's purely because I need to have the realization that I can't take up 45 minutes of somebody's weekend waffling like I do. So if it's not read out, it will be read out in one of the future Saturday Q&A videos. Second thing, I am not a medical professional. I am not a trained health expert. I am not a surgeon. I'm not a weight loss expert. I'm purely sharing what I've learned on my nearly 10 months taking Mounjaro, and hoping that if you're in a similar situation, if you're on the same journey as me, it may help you. If in any doubt, please speak to your medical professional. Right, first question, Steve, HQ3NI. What is a normal day's food for you? Obviously, you're on a weight loss journey, you're taking Mounjaro, Ozempic, GLP-1s, any of those things, you're going to prioritise protein. Every single food item that I eat is pretty much prioritising protein. I normally start the day with a protein shake. For lunch, it's a little bit warmer in the UK now, so I'm looking at chicken salad. So I've got lettuce, chicken, sometimes a boiled egg sliced up, tomatoes, pomegranate and a little bit of coleslaw, all topped off with a little grinded pepper. That would generally be my lunch. Evening meal, always again prioritising protein, so that's going to be fish or chicken. But what my plan is, Steve, is at some point in the near future, and it is purely about getting the time to do this, I'm going to do what I eat in a day type video, and I'll talk you through every step of the way. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully it will be coming soon. But for me, it's all about counting calories and it's all about prioritising protein. Right, hopefully I'll get the name right on this next question. Ulysses Zopal. Just as a side note, it would be helpful to know your starting and current BMI or your height. It makes a big difference if a 6'8" guy loses 75 pounds or a 5'5" guy. For the record, I'm 6'3". My starting BMI was a 39.7 and my current BMI is 30.3. So I'm still slightly over what they would call the healthy range, I think. And my BMI goal is 27.9. So that kind of gives you an idea of where I am. I'm quite a well-built lad anyway. And I've always talked about BMI not particularly being that sort of appropriate for everyone. It's kind of, for me, and this is only my personal experience, and a lot of people do comment on this as well when I mention it, is it's very much a ballpark figure. I think it doesn't take into account a lot of things, a lot of your build, how broad your shoulders are, and that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying anyway. So that's where I'm at on that one. Right, next up we have got a question from Scott F2199. Question for your Q&A. Have you all in the UK heard about the planned price increases by Lilly? Trump made Lilly reduce the prices in the US to match the rest of the world. They did reduce the price slightly in the US by about 20%. It's great news for some doses, but it was still more than other countries. Sorry about that. If this is true, this is awful. This is from one of the leading GLP reporters in the US. Now, I did click on the link that he sent, Scott, and it took me to a video where a young lady was talking about the prices and kind of all the stuff that you mentioned with Trump and Lilly, and he wasn't very happy because it was a lot cheaper in Europe than it was in the US, albeit it's a medication from the US. So yeah, I'm staying out of that one. The link it took me to this video of the young lady talking, which was back in August last year. So I think possibly maybe talking about the price rises that we sort of received. And the prices in the UK went up. I'm just reading it now, so I do apologise. The lowest doses, 2.5 and 5 milligrams, went up approximately 45%. Mid-range doses increased by roughly 138%. And the highest doses, 12.5 and 15, saw a steep rise of approximately 170%. And it did make a massive difference in the UK. Currently, Wegovy's a lot cheaper over here. So, you know, towards the end of last year, September, October, November, a lot of people moved from Mounjaro, went to Wegovy based on the cost of those medications. However, looking at TikTok and YouTube and that kind of things, people have found it less effective. So it looks like people are slowly sort of migrating back to Mounjaro. And I feel like the prices have dipped ever so slightly since we had those massive price rises back in September 25. So hopefully that gives you an idea where we are in the UK regarding prices. I did have a little search. I can't find anything other than that. There's nothing that indicates in the future we've got further price rises coming. So fingers crossed it stays like that, everyone. So the next question today is from KYDV. We have all heard that if a person goes off a GLP-1 medication, they will gain back weight. Do you think the person goes back to eating the same way they were before taking the injection to gain back the weight? I was off for 6 weeks due to surgery and recovery, and I still lost 1 pound. For me, it's a no-brainer. If I know if I go back to eating what I was eating before I started these medications, then I'm gonna put weight back on. It's an absolute no-brainer, isn't it? Because I dread to think how many calories I was eating before I started this. I was a massive advocate for you've got to learn the habits. You've got to create these new routines. You've got to learn how to eat differently. And I'm still not convinced I've done that. I'm better, but I'm not spot on. I'm not brilliant at it. So from my experience, my way of thinking is if I go back to eating what I was before, then, I mean, it boils down to calorie deficit. Everything does, doesn't it? So if I'm not eating the right amount of calories, I'm not in deficit, I'm not going to lose weight, or I'm not going to lose much weight. If I go back to eating all those calories, I'm probably, or more likely, going to put all that weight back on. Right, final question for this week. Like I said, if I haven't read your question out, I will get it on a future Saturday video. And it is from David Palmer 5290. Been on a plateau now for a couple of weeks, so I decided to go up from 5 milligrams to 7.5, even though the hunger pangs were still absent. Even though nothing else changed with food or exercise, weight is coming off again. Did you experience this at all? I suppose if it works, it works. Don't knock it out. I'm trying to think if I did experience that, and I don't think I did. If you follow the channel for a while, you will know that I was Mr. 3.75 for a long time, because my dose, I tried to stay as low as I possibly could for as long as I possibly could, and I was Mr. 3.75 milligrams. I tried my best. If I'm still losing weight, if my appetite suppression is good and my food noise is low, then I wouldn't go up. I am not a medical professional, I'm not a food biologist, I'm not a scientist. And I know from my own personal circumstances, I started losing weight again when I got stricter again, when I reduced my calories, because I was probably eating more calories than I should have been. It might just, I mean, the thing I would say, David, see how it goes. If it's working for you, don't worry about it. It's as simple as that, I guess, isn't it? If it's working, all good in the world. Right, I do think that's enough waffle for one day, isn't it? I do appreciate you spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. We all understand how precious time is. A few people have asked me if they can support the channel a little bit more. I'll be honest with you, just being here and watching these videos helps more than you probably ever realise. If you can click the like button, that would be amazing. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic too. If you did want to support the channel a little bit more, there are memberships to the channel and there's a link to that down below. There's never any pressure to do this, but it genuinely helps me keep building this channel and documenting the whole journey properly. If you want a little bit more, I am also on TikTok and Instagram at @ManDoesMidlife, and I appreciate you all being here, and I'll see you all on the next one. I will leave a few of my videos on the screen right now. This one in particularly, give that one a watch, because that's my secret jabber one, the one that's caused all the kerfuffle this week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.